Hey, I'm Mike Henry Sr. with Follower of One. I hope everybody can hear me on the Follower of One Vision Cast. Today I'm in my home office. It's a little dark outside today. We're having rain. Um, and today I've been doing these vision casts at 10:24 a.m. Central Time because of Hebrews 10:24. And Hebrews 10:24 says, "Let us stimulate one another to love and good deeds." I'm actually working on memorizing the verse, but I can never seems like I always have trouble remembering how they start, the first word or two. But let us consider how to stimulate one another to love and good deeds. Today is the fifth one of these vision casts, and be looking for them in our online community. As I record this, it's January the 22nd of 2024. And we have a mission trip that just began. Mission Trip 31 has 68 participants on it. This is people from all over the globe. We have people from different countries. We have people representing different churches and ministries. We have many individuals who have been on previous mission trips, but also a large number of people who haven't done it before. The Marketplace Mission Trip is an idea that you may have heard was birthed out of this whiny complaint that I made to a pastor. I either made it to him or I just thought it. The story goes that a pastor and I were having lunch one day, and I asked him how I could help. And I always did that because I worked on one side of town and the church was on the other side of town. And this particular time, he said, "We have this mission trip coming up. When people go on a mission trip, that's when they get it." And we talked about how when we get intentional with our faith, that we actually draw closer to Jesus. We build a better relationship with him. We get more on fire with our faith. And I either said it or I just thought it because he and I have talked since and we don't remember. It's been a long time. But the idea was I drive 30 miles a day to work and I think I already get it. So how is that not a mission trip? And 15 years later, almost, I was talking to a young friend who said, Jonathan Hines, actually, he's a member of our community. And Jonathan said, "Why don't you do a virtual mission trip?" We were sitting at a Panera Bread having coffee and talking. And at that moment, I got confronted to stop whining about this and to do something about it. And so what you're seeing now is we're on the 31st iteration of this marketplace mission trip idea, an idea that really isn't a virtual mission trip at all. It's a challenge to go to our own workplaces like we are going on an overseas mission trip. And we've turned that into 2 weeks of devotionals and some Zoom calls so that we simulate the idea of being on a mission trip where we're checking in with other people. We're accountable to one another for how we live our faith. And we practice our 5 daily habits. And those 5 daily habits we've talked about on the Vision Cast before. I feel grateful just to have been able to cook this off into these ideas. But the first idea is to pray. Jesus, here I am. What do you want me to do today? Is the first prayer. And we can also pray for thanks and we can pray for the people around us. Pray, appreciate others, find ways to show people how you appreciate them, help them feel appreciated. Know what you believe. That's being able to talk about your faith without choking up, having practiced and having thought about it. Serve others. When we start praying for people, that's exactly what Jesus does. He puts us to work serving them. He doesn't change them nearly as much as he changes us. And then the fifth daily activity is to speak for yourself. When we're given an opportunity, when someone asks us, "Why are you doing this?" we can share with them about how God and Jesus are changing us and have transformed us. It's a personal story. We're not telling someone else how to live. So the marketplace mission trip became this idea. We began practicing it. We actually even talk about one of the reference resources that we use, which is a book called God Space by Doug Pollock. I would encourage you to check that out. I'll try and remember to put it in the show notes on this live stream as well. God Space by Doug Pollock is this great 125-page book that gives you 100 tips for how to start faith-based types of conversations, how to create these conversations with people. And God Space is an extremely practical book. And it's all about how we live this first so that others are curious. When we live our faith first, it causes other people to question our motives, to question our desires, but not in a criminal way. It's not like they believe that we're going to win some award or get a badge sewn on our shirt because we led people to Jesus. It comes out of our joy that we experience following him and doing what he says. We're challenged every day to do what Jesus tells us to do. And when we do that, he puts us to work. He makes it count. He makes it matter forever. So today, the whole point is to explain this marketplace mission trip idea. We go practice those 5 ideas every day for 2 weeks. It's like a mission trip. The first week we learn them, and the second week we call action week. And also on the Sunday before, the Sunday in the middle, and the Sunday at the end, we have Zoom calls where you get to meet other people who are on the trip. We get to pray for one another. Participating in the Zoom calls transforms the experience because now you're not doing it alone. When we do it alone, it just dies. But when we do it with others, we experience this joy and we show up a little better. We practice a little harder. We know that it means more when we do it with someone else. And so that's the idea for the Zoom calls in the Marketplace Mission Trip. You can still join Mission Trip 31 if you're listening to this live stream inside the community and it's before January the 24th. So on the 22nd or the 23rd, you can still join this trip. Go over into the left-hand menu, which I'm pointing to my left, but I actually think that's the wrong way. Go to the left-hand menu on either your mobile device or your web app and tell it that you want to join Mission Trip 31, and then you'll get let in. Now, after the 24th or on the 24th, we'll make it to where you can't see it because basically everyone's a little further along. But our goal is to help every marketplace Christian realize that those 5 daily activities put us on the mission field every day. This is not about one time being intentional about your faith. It's about realizing that you control the throttle. You control the joy coming into your life by the way that Jesus works and by what he does through you and in you as you're punching in with him as you go to work every day. I talk about, "Here I am, Jesus," being punching in. It's the same prayer Isaiah prayed. "Here I am. What do you want me to do?" When we clock in with that prayer, then from that moment forward, Jesus puts us to work. It's his responsibility and it's his strategy. He's working out his plan. And so even if you spend all day today up to your neck in drama and challenges at work, that was all part of his plan. It was all part of his strategy. And that's why the marketplace mission trips are so key for us in Follower of One. Our vision is that there will eventually be dozens or maybe even hundreds of churches all doing these marketplace mission trips. There are only so many weeks in a year, but there are thousands of churches all over the globe. And so, what if your church did the marketplace mission trip? If you've done the mission trip before, or if you do it and check it out, then take the responsibility of sharing it with some people at your church or in your small group. You can do the marketplace mission trip with our 6-week small group workbook too, which is one way to do it. And you just do it over 6 weeks, or you can do the 2-week version inside our online community. That second way, the 2-week version, that's the primary way where we get people to join the community because we'd like them to stick around so that we would have a network of people in every occupation. Imagine having a group of salespeople all over the globe who have completed the marketplace mission trip. And if you're a salesperson, you can go into that group and ask those people for some advice and ask them to pray for you because they understand what you're going through. I grew up working in the trucking business. Imagine if you were an over the road truck driver and you took the marketplace mission trip and you then joined a community that had a dozen or 2 dozen truck drivers in it who have all taken the marketplace mission trip before. And now there's some Christian truck drivers who can share and pray for you because of your occupation being the same as theirs. You know one another better and you can help each other better. That's the whole reason for the online community, the whole reason for this vision. God has millions of Christians stationed all over the globe, strategically placed in almost every business and almost every occupation. But we're not talking to each other. We don't know each other. We're not aware of what's going on in the heart or the mind of that other person because they go to a different church, or maybe they raise their hands when they sing and we don't. It could be all kinds of little things that separate us. Why be separated? Why not share your faith with the people that you interact with every day? What we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. And so that's why we invite people to take this marketplace mission trip. It's exactly what that pastor said. When people go on a mission trip, that's when they get it. We get it. We understand a little better when we've taken the marketplace mission trip. And so that's my challenge for you. Step out a little bit more in your faith. We didn't have a lot of guests join us today, but my goal today was to help people understand a little bit more about the marketplace mission trip and why it's such a key part of the vision of Follower of One. When we get outside of our private little Christian space and we start to pay attention to the people around us, you'll meet the people around you who are Christians and you can engage them a little bit more too. Imagine if two people in the same company started praying for coworkers, or if 3 or 4 people in the same company did it. Imagine if it was the same people who were doing this industry wide. There's a group of people who are in Phoenix, Arizona, who pray once a month, and I join those calls even though I'm not in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the cool thing about prayer, and a key thing about this vision. The vision is every Christian realizing that we have a role to play. We've been called into a story. We've been called into a battle. We know who wins. Jesus is going to win. But the battle still goes on. We still are taking back space or ground or whatever. We're trying to win people to Jesus Christ by the way we live, not by selling them or pitching them or trying to twist their arm. We want to live a life that is free, that is based on the joy that Jesus has given us. And my vision for us is that we would become a huge community with a bunch of churches doing these marketplace mission trips on a regular basis. If you or your pastor would like to know anything else about marketplace mission trips, please reach out to me. You can connect with me, you can reply or comment to this video wherever you see it, and I will hear about it. Our goal is to help you put your faith into practice every day. Thank you for joining Follower of One. Thank you for watching this vision cast. We're doing a series of these, like I said, every Monday at 10:24 a.m. Central Time. Our challenge is to help believers step into this calling. I believe the prophecy of Habakkuk 2:14 is happening. The earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. You and I are part of that strategy. We each man our post, and we stick the glory of the Lord, the glory of the knowledge of the Lord into our environment. Thank you for being a marketplace minister. Thank you for being part of that strategy. I'm grateful that you listen to this podcast, that you take part in our ministry. Remember, what we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. Thanks very much.